of you, or maybe around lunchtime for others. So I really appreciate you taking some time out today to learn a little bit more about Belfast and Queen's University based in the city. I'm just going to share my screen. I've got some presentation slides just to run through today. And then I also have one of our current students on with us who is also available to ask some of your questions and find out a little bit more about the experience at Queen. So we have Maria, who's with us. I think Maria just give a wave there. So she'll be with us later today then to answer some questions as well. So I hope everybody can see my screen. Okay, Maria, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see it okay? Yeah, perfect. We're all ready to go. So as I say, my name is Susan McCleary and I'm the Senior International Officer at Queen's University Belfast for the North America team. Oh, sorry. Let's see. Of course, there we go. Just a few, there we go. So I lead a team which focus on degree recruitment and study abroad for across the US and Canada. And we also look at partnership arrangements as well, of which we have quite a number in the North America region. So this is the team based primarily in Belfast, but we also have Maddie, the last person on the slide there, who is also based in the US. So it's also available for that on-time requests and questions that students might have. Can I also maybe just make a request? I think there's somebody has their mic still on. So if maybe somebody could turn that off. I'm just getting a little bit of feedback. Thank you. So we lead a team which has been attracting quite a number of students across the Queen's, and that's been growing in the recent years. Queen's has become a very attractive proposition, particularly for postgraduate students coming from the US for various reasons, which I'm going to cover through in more detail today. But first I thought, instead of me giving you a flavour of what it is that Northern Ireland has to offer and a little bit of an insight of the fun, and you'll hear in the video the crack available in Northern Ireland. It's not what you think. So I thought I just wanted to play a short video so that you can hear exactly from the students themselves.
We can't hear it.
Oh. Oh, sorry, I believe you can't hear it. One moment. We were having a few technical issues earlier with this, so I'm just going to see if it's something to do with my sharing. 2 seconds. Yeah, it is. I pressed the wrong button for sharing, so apologies. That was. Thank you. Here we go.
Well, the first thing you should know about Belfast is it's a bit of crack. People in Belfast have a lot of really great sayings. One of them is "we," and "we" could mean literally anything.
Well, everyone here is super friendly and welcoming. A lot of the places in Belfast are unlike anything else I've seen in my life, and they're really wonderful to explore.
There we go. So that gives a bit of a flavour, and I know some of you on the call today have had the opportunity to come and visit us as part of the NAFA Fellowship UK study tours in the past, and hopefully some of you will see us again later in the spring, early summer. We welcome all of you to come and experience what Belfast has to offer, and including Queen's. So this is a slightly older picture of Queen's, because actually this year we have celebrated our 180th birthday. We're the 9th oldest institution in the UK, founded in 1845. So we've been very much at the leading edge of global education for nearly 2 centuries. We're ranked in the top 200 in the world, and we're part of the Russell Group of universities in the UK. So those research leading intensive universities, which receives quite a large majority of the funding as well for that reason. reason. We've got very small teaching student ratio of 15:1, and currently we have over just 25,000 students. 4,000 of those are international from 90 different countries, and about 18,000 of those at the undergrad level. So therefore there's about 7,000 at the postgrad level, just to give you a little bit of a flavour of the student makeup. As I say, we've been a world-class leading university for nearly 2 centuries, and that research has been accredited as 99% as leading excellent from the REF 2021. We have 24 subjects in the world's top 200, and we're 5th in the world for international outlook. And so it's not just about our student body, it's about the level of research that we have on offer at Queen's that is globally leading, and our professors are academics, so we're always interested in collaborating with many international academics, faculty members. So if you have any faculties keen to find out more about Queen's, do put them in touch. But it's also for the research, for the global mobility opportunity for our students. So we've got lots of opportunities for our students to even return to North America, but to travel across Europe, whether it's on short-term programs, exchanges, and lots of opportunities for that to extend their horizons for that global mobility opportunity. So this is one of the areas of Belfast known as the Cathedral Quarter. It's quite a popular area, as you can imagine, with students, lots of nightlife, bars, restaurants, cafe culture. But overall, as a city and indeed Queens, we're very welcoming to those from North America, and our community from North American students has been growing over the years. We now have over 600 North American students on campus, and approximately 450 new enrolments from North America each year. We have a very active alumni community back in North America, so that's great for some of the points we'll talk about later in terms of that connections for returning post-study, for networking, for employability. So we have a lot of connections and global connections, and particularly in North America. So we're delighted that so many students are seeking us out and coming to study with us. This is a QR code. We can share this slide deck afterwards, but this is a QR code if you want to find out a little bit more about the research on offer at Queen's, which extends across all of our faculties, so health and medical sciences, engineering, physical sciences, along with our arts, humanities and social sciences. For those who aren't familiar with the geography, I'd hope that most of you are, but it can be a little bit tricky, particularly for students to get their head around, because whilst we're on the island of Ireland, we're very much a UK institution. So you can see on this slide here and the map, we're part of Northern Ireland, so that means that economically and politically we're governed by the UK, but it brings a really different, unique blend to that student experience to come to Queen's and to come and study in Belfast, because you get that mix of both. So you get all the fun of the Irish culture, but then you also get that UK education system as well. So you will, because we're part of the UK, then the US students do need a UK study visa for Northern Ireland, and they would apply actually direct for a postgraduate level through our website, so no application fees for students. So if they're even interested in finding out to see if they meet the entry admissions criteria, it's worth dropping in an application, and I'll give you some links and some details of that later. Because we're part of the UK as well, there's the 18-month post-study visa, and the majority of our degrees take 1 year in length at the postgraduate or graduate level. Some of you on the call have seen with me some of these amazing locations, which highlights it's a bit of a hidden gem. We've got the Giant's Causeway, we've got blue flag beaches, we've got the Mountains of Mourne, and in fact some of these are even some of our students' clubs and societies. So we do have a surf club, we do have mountaineering and hiking clubs as well, because this is all within 1 hour's reach of Belfast. We're also very easy accessible to Derry for those fans of Derry Girls out there. It's very convenient to get around. And it is a city like no other because of that accessibility. We are a city centre campus, as you can see here on this image. So we're about 15 minutes walk into the city centre. So it gives you that campus life, but it also very much gives you that city life as well. We're the safest region in the UK at the moment. We spoke earlier about that accessibility. Whilst there's so much to do within the city, for those who want to use it as a launch pad for a little bit more travel, whether that's throughout the UK and Ireland or Europe or further afield, we have direct links to 58 destinations from local airports, and then we're 2 hours to Dublin by train, bus or car. We also, for London and wider parts of the UK, you can get to London for about in an hour for about $100. So it's very accessible to do so. But the city itself, this is a picture of the Belfast city centre. You can see this beautiful, that sort of Georgian architecture coming through and Victorian architecture throughout the city. We're about 15 minutes walk from this city hall and the main sort of city centre. There's lots of arts and culture, sporting events. We're known as a city of festivals, so students will absolutely not be bored, and I'm sure Maria can tell you a little bit more about that slightly later. But we find that students adapt very quickly because it's a small enough city to feel like home and to get comfortable with it and explore. But then, as I said, you have that opportunity to broaden your horizons as well with its location. This Belfast, obviously, and Northern Ireland in itself is quite unique in terms of what it has to study, particularly those for politics and history and Irish studies because of our recent past. We had 30 years of conflict. We're now almost 30 years post-conflict at this point, which is incredible. We're the longest serving peace accord in the world, and it's not many places that you can get and come what it's like to live in a post-conflict society in a very safe environment. We're almost like a living lab in that respect. But because of our academics and their role within the peace process, we find then they have huge networks and connections working on global peace accords, etc. So you've got that local lens alongside the global context.
Get ready for my
It's also become a very modern and fast-paced city. So it's big in terms of economic development, a real hotbed for inward investment, particularly from North America, which creates a lot of job opportunities for our students as well. So it's one of the fastest growing fintech cities in Europe at the moment, and it's also a hub for global film and creative industries. So any fans of Game of Thrones and some of the big films, HBO films out there at the moment, a lot of those have been filmed in and around the Belfast city. And I've already talked about the affordability of the city, which we can go on to talk a little bit later. This shows you a little bit around some of the big sort of global companies that are based in the city and how close they are to the university. But we have huge industrial links within the city. That's one of the advantages of being in a small city in the UK, because we do then have those contacts, which then we open up into our students, particularly those in the creative arts we find. But throughout our engineering, medical centres, etc. We are working with the local hospitals. We're working with local industry. They're part of our advisory boards for programme development, highlighting what they need and what the next generation of students needs for a post-future career, so that we can direct our students in terms of what that need is and develop their skill sets. And that's why in the UK, we're 9th in the UK for graduate prospects, and we're 2nd in the UK for entrepreneurial impact. We did recently have some conversations with some local North American students on the value for employability of their Queen's degrees. And so I just want to play you a short video to give you an insight of what they're saying about a Queen's degree back in North America.
I was really attracted to the specific program in studying borders because that doesn't really exist anywhere else. The first week that I started my job here in DC, I attended this webinar and the woman who was at the head of the panel was introduced, and she had done her law degree at Queen's. And she was really high up in our organization, and so I immediately emailed her and I was like, no way. You never really know where a Queen's connection will find you.
My time and degree from Queen's has helped me stand out in the US job market by being something different. In my program specifically, we had guest lecturers who were working in the arts all over the city, all over the country. We are given a work placement, and from there I ended up meeting a ton of artists, a ton of producers, and built my network of people even larger than it was from just the professors that we had coming in and lecturers coming in.
The different experiences that I had at Queen's and during my program have continued to shape the way that I think about a lot of different big picture questions in my own career. For me, it was really the place where, for what I wanted to study, which was immigration and global security, really the epicenter of a lot of interesting scholarship happening, a lot of very well-regarded academics, leading academics in that field in particular.
I studied conflict transformation and social justice when I was at Queen's. What I loved about Queen's is there was infinite opportunities if you wanted to take them, and I think that being able to sharpen that muscle was something that has greatly prepared me for the non-linear career that I have currently, of always seeing something as a possibility and always following what I find most interesting as opposed to what I find to be most strategic. And I think in terms of preparing me for the career that I have currently, I'm always asking questions. I'm always trying to find out more information. I think that makes me the researcher that I am today, and I think that makes me all the more marketable for the jobs that I'm going for and have gone for previously.
I applied to law school and I knew that I wanted to be a lawyer that represented people who had been sexually harassed or sexually assaulted. And I think having a background with the master's program that I had at Queen's University in Belfast helped me stand out from a lot of other people who were applying to law school. What I studied there in particular relates to sexual violence during the conflict in Northern Ireland. And I think that that very careful set of studies that I did at Queen's helped prepare me for my current line of work. Having a Queen's degree has started a lot of interesting conversations with people who may not know that much about Northern Ireland or Belfast. I think it's way cooler than going to some, of the other universities.
Hopefully that gives you a little bit of sense of some of our current alum and how a Queen's degree has helped them in terms of post-study and back in North America. I think one of the other appeals for studying at Queen's, and we've been hearing this from a lot of our students, is the affordability of Belfast, particularly in the current climate. And we have such a range of scholarships available for students, which I can talk you through in a little bit more detail now, because I know a lot of you on the call are very interested in this area. We've got quite a number of national scholarships, as well as a lot of Queen's specific scholarships open to North America students only. I think I mentioned earlier, Belfast is one of the most affordable cities in the UK and Ireland. We're currently the most affordable city, so it just means that your money goes further and you can enhance your student experience whilst here and have more disposable income for enjoying the full life, or maybe doing a little bit of travel as well. We've been doing some research as well with North American cities, and we're about to publish some information online which highlights that Belfast, compared to some of the big cities in the US like New York, Boston, Chicago, even the West Coast, California, LA, you're looking on average around £10,000 per year cheaper, more affordable in Belfast than it is in those cities. And that's excluding tuition, that's just based on pure cost of living. So that in itself, the fact that our degrees are 1 year and the costs are reduced when it comes to tuition, as well as when it comes to the cost of living, means it's a lot more affordable for a lot of North American students, and it allows them to launch their careers quicker as well. We have, I've listed here, it's quite a busy slide because we actually have quite a lot of scholarships on offer, but we can certainly circulate this afterwards so you can peruse them in more detail. And all of this information is all on the US pages on the Queen's website. We obviously have our Marshall Scholarship. We're absolutely delighted to have that. And I know we have a Marshall Scholar coming to us this September, which we can't wait to welcome. We also have 2 Fulbright Awards, one a specific award looking at conflict security and contested pasts, and then we have a more institutional wide award, and both of those awards, like Marshall, offer a full tuition scholarship along with a stipend or living allowance. Internally in Queen's, we have the Hillary Rodham Clinton Award, and that award has come about because, for those who aren't familiar with this, Hillary Clinton is actually our current Chancellor at Queen's University Belfast. So this award is targeted at female students from the US who are interested in studying in politics, conflict transformation, or international human rights. And so it's a full scholarship, and it typically opens around September time for applications, closing in January. And it's a very popular award. There's 5 programs that it applies to at Queen's related to these areas. So there's more information online on each of those. We have 4 international Vice Chancellor Awards where there's a 50% tuition fee discount. And we also, this year, we've had 7 full free housing awards as well, specifically for North America students, for graduate students. So it means then that that's one less thing to worry about if your housing's covered. It's a 51-week contract, so it's in a very nice apartment in our Queen's Elms village, which you'll see some pictures of in a little bit. But that's always been well received, and be very hopeful going forward to be still offering housing awards for students as well from North America. Sustainability is key within the university. We're very much at the forefront, not only in Northern Ireland, but in the UK, of advising government on net zero initiatives and working towards that ourselves. So for that reason, we have a sustainability award, which provides £5,000 of funding. That's guaranteed for those programmes for international students. So anybody who's interested in some of those programs, I recommend taking a look at that. And our business school, which I'll come to talk about later, also has a £6,000 scholarship award attached to it as well. Then there's various other awards depending on backgrounds, whether you have a family that previously been to Queen's, there's a 20% discount. I've seen some mentioning here that they have some students on the UK summer programme, the Fulbright summer programme. They would be absolutely then entitled to the 20% loyalty scholarship for returning students as well. We also have a range of international office scholarships and early confirmation. So quite a range to choose from. They're all listed on our website, and we can certainly provide more information to anybody who's interested in finding out more about those. I mentioned cost of living as well, and tuition fees. So this gives you a general feeling of cost of living, the difference between Belfast, Dublin and London. What I will say that these estimates that are here on the screen are probably quite conservative. I just spent Easter in London, and I know how much more expensive it was to stay there. Whilst it's a lovely city to visit, and I love visiting London and I love visiting Dublin, it is a little bit pricier on the purse. So I would say the savings are probably a little bit more substantial at the moment. But in terms of tuition fees, we're looking in around 23,000 for a classroom-based course and just over 27,000 for a lab-based course. And those, I should mention, are before you apply the scholarships that we previously mentioned. just to give you a flavour of then how that could look, how that works out, because I understand that's a lot of figures and scholarships that's been put forward. So just to understand it a little bit more, if we were going for, say, a geopolitics class, which is very popular amongst US students at the moment, you're looking around £23,000 for tuition. It's a guaranteed award of the International Office Scholarship Award. Then it brings just over $5,000 savings, so £4,000. The early confirmation, this student who has paid their fees before they enrolled in full in September receives more of an award. So you're looking for the cost of the year for tuition of somewhere in the region of just over $23,000. £17,500, which for comparable for institutions which would be similar to Russell Group in the US, or indeed in the UK, some of our Russell Group institutions, the fees would tend to be a lot more. So it does make it a more affordable option, and that's primarily because of our location based in Belfast and in Northern Ireland. We can offer slightly reduced rates because of that lower cost of living. The student housing, some pictures here of the students' housing. You can see the lovely Elms Village, which is a very residential feel to it. We also have city centre housing for those who want more of the city experience. Both are within about a 15-minute walk of campus, so easy to get to. And it means then that students aren't spending time and money commuting. It's guaranteed for all of our international students, and they get their own private single dorms. They will have to share a kitchen, so they will have to hone in on some of those cooking skills that they'll need later in life, which is always good, but it's also good for integrating with other students and assisting with that transition and arrival onto campus. So you can see there's our tree house, which has an amazing social area, including a coffee bar. There's karaoke room for those who are interested. There's bookable barbecue areas. There's TV lounge. There's now a cinema room. So students are very well equipped in terms of the facilities. There's also RA support 24 hours a day, along with 24-hour a day security. And the RA support is incredible. And they also offer weekly excursions at the weekends to the likes of the Giant's Causeway and different places, scenic places around Northern Ireland for as little as £10. So it's a great way of introducing students and helping students settling in. There are private accommodation options within Belfast, but we find our shared housing and our student housing is very appealing for a lot of our North American students. We have our graduate school. Some of you on the call I know has been to here, and it looks just like this. It's a specific centre looking at assisting students for employability and the next stage, maybe looking at some interdisciplinary study, but thinking of what that future leader looks like, and so to ensure they're future ready. So whilst the students apply for a specific school, in addition to that school, then they also then receive entry into our graduate school, so that they have access to additional programs, events, networking events, some academic development programs as well. So lots of additional initiatives that students can access whilst they're at Queen's to help get them future ready. We mentioned earlier about our facilities. You've seen on some of the photos, some of the facilities. This is our new Students' Union, which is just opposite that iconic Lanyon building. It's specifically for students as a one-stop shop for all their student needs, and it's just been voted as #1 Students' Union in the UK. So everything from counselling services to the Students' Union itself. We've got a pantry students can access on a weekly basis, coffee shops, live entertainment environment. So it's well used by all of our students as well. I did have a video here to show you of our facilities. I'm just conscious of time. So what I will do is I'll post this video link in the chat slightly later, and then you can access it from there, just so that we have time to speak to Maria, who's also on the call. we've talked about our well-being, but say probably like you in your own institutions, it's become so important with our student services. So we have on-site campus support, including the drop-in counselling service available for all students. And this is some of the clubs and societies and extracurriculars that are at hand. We talked previously about some of the sports clubs, but it's got everything from political clubs to hobbies, to international student support clubs, etc. So lots available for students to access in their free time. Some popular programs at Queen's for US students. We've already talked about politics, and we've got some distinctive programs in that area, particularly around global security and borders, violence, terrorism, security. History is always popular, and the arts and English, along with those within cybersecurity, AI, growing programs within sustainability and within biological sciences. We are divided into 3 faculties. So we have the Faculty of Arts, Humanities, Social Sciences, Engineering, Physical Sciences, and Medical Health and Life Sciences. And I've got an overview of some of those programs that, again, whenever I share the slides later, you'll be able to see what those specific programs are at the postgraduate level and take time to peruse those. We also have our business school, Queen's Business School, which is triple accredited. So it's in the top 1% of business schools globally. And top 10 in the UK for areas like accounting and finance. Let me see, this shows you some of the programs on offer as well. Sorry, there we go. So as said, you can see quite a range of programs in the business school as well, everything from management to accounting, finance, and of course, some new ones related to AI, etc. So you can see quite a range of programs available at the graduate level for students thinking of coming to Queen's, all across each of our schools. So I will share these with you separately on a slide, and then you can see the range that you can look at those, and you can also explore those on our website as well, and get more information on each of those programs too. There's a handy toolbar on the homepage that allows you to look through those, and this link will help to direct you to the portal for applications. As I mentioned before, there's no application fee and there's no testing requirements like GMAT or GRE. So we open September each year of that academic year for applications. A minimum of 2.8 GPA is what we're looking for, which is an equivalent of a 2.2 in the UK, ranging up to about a 3.2, which is a 2.1 equivalent. So if you see the programs with these UK equivalencies, that's how they translate back into the GPA. For those students who apply, they primarily will receive a conditional offer first, because part of the admissions of entry will be completion of their US institution degree, their bachelor's degree, and then once we receive that transcript, we can operate to unconditional offer. But you're probably familiar with that in terms of other UK universities. But of course, the team and I are more than happy to talk through any of the programs in more detail with any of you or any of your students who are considering applying. And we also have a lot of subject-based webinars. There's some recordings currently on the website at the moment for those who are interested in finding out a little bit more. So I think you've heard enough from me for now. I'm delighted that we have on the call today one of our current scholarship holders, Maria. So Maria, hopefully you can hear us okay. And I thought, thank you for joining us. I just thought it would be really useful to get a flavour of your student experience and a little bit of about what you have found Queen's as part of your studies, and any tips or any information you can provide to any of the fellowship advisors on the call today. So first, I wanted to ask you, what motivated you to come to Queen's for your graduate studies?
Yeah, so at least for me, I had visited Belfast a few years prior, So I did the Fulbright Summer Institute program with Queens, and I did their program in conflict transformation summer program, and that just had me thinking about Queens as a master's program that I was really interested in. I enjoyed Belfast as well. It's just an easy city to fall in love with, especially with Queen's University being there as well. So that was kind of what got me started into looking into the program.
Excellent. And so you've been with us since September. Can you tell us a little bit about your highlights as a student with us?
Yeah, I think at least an important part of the program itself is offering a internship placement as part of our program. It was really important for me to not only have a meaningful experience at Queen's University through the courses that were offered, but also feel that I was getting work experience as well while preparing to enter the career force. So currently, I think it's been really meaningful doing work with the Sanctuary Initiative at Queen's. So I'm currently helping with their 3-year strategy, and it's just been an amazing opportunity. But overall, my experience at Queen's has just been really amazing, and I feel that I have the resources and the professors to help support me. The classes are pretty small, so I do feel that one-on-one aspect. Um, Overall, it's been a great experience so far.
Can you tell us a little bit about your student experience of how it compares with maybe your North American student experience?
Yeah, I think, like you've mentioned before, Belfast is quite unique and its position within the island, um, I think gives you maybe a different sense of the UK. And I don't think maybe compared to other Fulbrighters for the UK who are in mainland, that experience is similar. It just feels more tight knit in Belfast, and I think that maybe it opens up your eyes to different perspectives and different dynamics that are at play that maybe as somebody in the United States might not have caught on to if they haven't gone to Belfast or somewhere around there. But honestly, I've had an amazing social life experience. It's very easy to connect with people there, and it's really easy to engage as well. A lot's going on. They do have a lot of art festivals going on, and I've just been enjoying that so far.
Thank you, Maria. So what does a typical weekend look like for you?
Yeah, so I think right now it is a little bit busy since we have finals coming up, but I think a typical weekend looks like for me is I typically go to hiking events. So I'm in the hiking society in Queens. So either I'll do that, or I try to do some art festival events going on during the weekend. I feel like there's always something going on in Belfast, so it's been great so far. But like examples of kind of the festivals they have is they have the Belfast International Film Festival. They have the Outburst Queer Arts Festival as well, and then every Thursday of the first Thursday of every month, they have a late like art night, so you get to go to some museums that you might not get to go to if you're in class or work. So I feel like I keep pretty social during the weekends before I get back to school and stuff during the week.
So it sounds like you're really embracing the opportunities, and obviously very focused on your studies during the week, which is also particularly important coming up to exam time as well. So the model student, shall we say. um, I was going to ask you about affordability. So you're out at the weekends, and obviously you're part of Queens during the week. How have you found affordability within the city?
I think it's been I feel it's pretty good. I feel that I haven't had too much issue with um, paying for things. It does seem like it's pretty applicable to, other cities in the area, and I do think that it does help that I am on a stipend as well, so hasn't been an issue so far. But for at least my peers within the program that maybe don't have my award, that's never been an issue. And if anything, it does seem that it's been helpful that Belfast is so affordable. That makes it easier to be a student there. And, you know, it seems like if you work part-time, that really does help. And there hasn't been much issue with students having financial difficulties with studying at Queen's.
So can I ask, what's next for you after your graduate studies?
Yeah, I do want to take at least 1 year before going back for my PhD. Hopefully, it would be in the UK. I'm hoping to apply for Queen's or other UK institutions for work related to migration studies. But for now, I'm just currently trying to finish my MA dissertation before getting to apply for jobs after that.
And I see Christina has just asked on the chat about how far of the city do you have to travel for a hike. Have you been up to Cave Hill yet, Maria?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure, but I think at least it's usually kind of 15 to 20 minutes to get on public transportation to a hiking spot. I think that's one of the locations they took us to. So it's actually not too hard, especially if you don't have a car. And that's been the fun part of doing the hiking society. They take us through public transportation routes to get to places, and that's just been enjoyable. And wasn't something I was able to do when I was at Arizona State University, just because, you know, transportation there didn't work the same, and you did need a friend with a car to get to these hiking locations. So it's really easy. So I haven't had any issues doing hiking by myself as well if I'm not with the hiking society.
Yeah, I like walking as well and hiking. And there's Cave Hill, which apparently is the inspiration for Gulliver's Travels for Jonathan Swift fans out there, which is literally 10-15 minutes walk, or 10-15 minutes in a taxi, or you can get a public transport from Queens actually. But the Mourne Mountains are within 45 minutes on a bus from the city centre as well. So it's really accessible to get to a lot of really good hiking spots as well. The Mourne Mountains are probably for more of those energetic hikers, more of those serious hikers. And you do need your hiking boots for that level. Final question for you, Maria, today is just to ask you if you were applying again to Queen's, or indeed applying for graduate studies, given that we have quite a number of fellowship advisors on the call today, what information would you wish that they would know about Queen's, or what information could they be passing on to students that would be particularly helpful to you?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I know that maybe it's cheesy, but definitely doing your research into Belfast and the context of it, and seeing if the careers that are being offered there would align with the student even after after they graduate. I definitely think that good relations projects currently in Belfast are pretty strong, and so I definitely see a job market for me at Queen's after I finish my master's. But it's just really important that not only does the city align with you, but the career prospects there as well for the students, so that they feel that they're making the connections needed to not only succeed within their program, but also after they graduate. And I think as well, an important aspect is just, you know, understanding, I think overall that it's just going to be a new experience, and that, you know, just be open to these new opportunities that might come with Belfast. But also, it's really helpful that my program has an internship placement. So that does connect me to other people that maybe can point me to the right direction based on what I'm looking for a career after Queen's, or just new opportunities that might come my way. So not all Queen's programs offer an internship placement. So I do think that's important to know. And you still can get an internship placement. I've had friends do it, but I think that was really important for me. And I think for at least my peer before me for that Fulbright Award also mentioned that was important for her as well. So that's something I think, for me at least, is very important that students know about, to make sure that that degree is the right one for them, and Belfast as well is something that aligns with them for their current and future goals.
Maria, thank you so much for your time today, and really good luck for the next few weeks with those examinations that are on the horizon. So thank you. You've given us a real insight into what it's like to be a student at Queen's. I know we have ran over slightly in terms of time, but if anybody has any questions, absolutely delighted to take those today. If you want to pop those into the chat, happy to do so. Or if you wanted to come off camera and ask those questions, we can certainly take those. Or else on the screen is my email address. I also give our North America team address. So lots of ways of contacting us and asking any of those questions as well.
Lovely, Susan. I think there is a question in the chat about the loyalty discount. Corey has an interest in that area. Might you wish to explain that?
Absolutely. So we are currently offering a 20% loyalty discount for those who've maybe been to do a study abroad semester, a summer school experience. So it's 20% of the tuition fee that we had profiled earlier. So we actually have a lot of students who come to do a study abroad with us, or maybe a summer school, just like Maria, and got a taste for Belfast and thought, I'd like to come back and do my graduate studies, whether it's because of the city or because of the programs, and getting a feel for what the university has to offer. And so with 20% discount available for those students.
Thank you so much. And Corey expresses similarly.
Great.
Any other questions? You've got a wonderful resource in Susan here. She's really, really helpful. And Maria as well as a student. Lovely. Well, I think you both did an incredible job. They know everything they need to go. They need to know, which is fantastic. Well done.
Well, thank you. And you're welcome to come to Belfast anytime to come and see us. We're always delighted to show people around campus. I know, Stephanie, you got to come and see us last year, which was great. I know a few of you have already mentioned on the chat that you've been to Belfast. I recognise quite a number of names from over the years that we've welcomed, and we just love hosting people. I think once you get a sense of what Belfast is like and Queen's is like, you'll get a real sense of how welcoming a city it is and why students transition very well to the city and to Queen's. So thank you very much for your time today, and thank you, Maria.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Oh, and I look forward to seeing you on the NAFA study tour this summer. I think we're the first stop, so hopefully we'll set the bar high. We've just been working through the itinerary, so there's a really good itinerary that I know that you'll love experiencing when you're over. So, and Stephanie, thank you so much for hosting us today as part of Marshall Mondays.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to you and to Maria for taking part. We're delighted to have you both. And thank you everyone who attended the Marshall Monday. It was wonderful to have you in the room. Oh, lots of NAFA guys. Oh, I'm so excited for you to have a trip to Belfast. It's fantastic. Otherwise, next week, we're very much looking forward to our next university guests, and we'll be emailing the joining instructions around in the next couple of days. Otherwise, we remain grateful to Queen's University Belfast and ask you to keep an eye on our website over the next coming days. We'll be posting a blog post about the university experience at the university, and you can learn more about what it is to study at Belfast, which is great. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time today, and we look forward to catching you at future Marshall Mondays. All the best. Have a good afternoon, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.